Okay, today I'm doing something different. Let me move this out of the way. I'm going to show you a little bit about how I do my research. So it was coming up on the anniversary of the March 9th death of Iva Triplet. So I went to newspaper archives and I looked her up to see if there was any new information uploaded that I hadn't known about. And I found her name in an article in the Akron Beacon Journal, March 15th, 1921. And when I download these, they're huge. So I have to open them up in a photo editing program and shrink them down. And when they shrink, it generally winds up somewhere in the middle of it being what's right in front of me. So when it shrank, here right in front of me was Marie M. Vaught, who died. And whoa, 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 wait. I didn't know about any Marie. I knew about Iva. I knew about Frances, and I knew about Florence. So we just went from 3 deaths to 4 deaths. I scroll down and I see, oh, the Homicide in Chicago Interactive Database had spelled Frances's last name wrong. And whoa, whoa, Maud Sporn. I had not known about her. So look at this. This guy went from 3 deaths to 5 deaths with one article. And I managed to put together a timeline, which is he performed the abortion on Frances around September 23rd, 1920. I don't know if he knew she was sick when he performed the abortion on Maud on October 2nd. And then Maud died 10 days later. And then 11 days after that, Frances died. Now, Milliken was in Chicago, was in Akron. Frances died in Chicago, so she showed up on the Homicide in Chicago Interactive Database, and that's how I found out about Milliken and knew to look for him on the um, newspaper archive, and I found those other 2 deaths. And then he seemed to have laid low for a while after the brouhaha over Frances dying, and it wasn't until January 18th that he performed an abortion on Florence. And then somewhere around April 15th of 21, he performed an abortion on Marie, who is listed as Louise Marie in another article. And then about 2 weeks later, he did the abortion on Iva. 3 days after that, Louise Marie died. 2 days after that, Florence died. And then on March 9th, Iva died. So Iva is the last of his victims that I know about. And I knew that Milliken had died a free man in spite of 3, now I know 5 abortion deaths. Now, he was listed in an article as a prominent Democratic politician. And when I Googled Milliken again, I mean, look Milliken up again in the newspaper archives, it was article after article after article after article of all the political things he was involved in, giving speeches and running for office and blah, 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 blah. Kind of gives me a clue how he got away with it. Plea bargained with a sympathetic judge. So I'm going to scroll past. This is about the lawsuit Iva's husband filed. Escapes prison by giving up right to practice medicine. Okay, the guy was 65 years old at this point. So we won't send you to prison if you'll just retire, does not seem like any kind of punishment. So he admitted to performing one illegal abortion. They dismissed the other 4 indictments. So he admitted to killing Louise Marie. Presiding Judge W.J. Ahern on pleas of clemency made by Judge George W. Anderson gave Milliken a suspended sentence. Look at this. Judge Anderson was Milliken's attorney. Okay, I think that kind of helps when your attorney is a judge. And the prosecutor insisted that Milliken wouldn't just get a suspended sentence. He'd have to stop practicing medicine. And so he wouldn't go to the penitentiary for between 1 and 7 years. And so they dismissed the other counts. And then Prosecutor Doyle goes on and says, I will say to the court at this time that crimes of this nature will not be tolerated, no matter what disposition is made in this case. Others must not conceive the idea that they can carry on this unlawful practice in Summit County and escape prosecution. Well, I don't know where they're gonna get that idea from because you were pretty lackadaisical about prosecuting this one, dude. In his plea for clemency, Judge Anderson stated that the doctor, who is 65 years old, has suffered from the publicity and notoriety directed at him through the newspapers, which ruined him, considering his past reputation and standing in the community as a physician. Oh my gosh, we wouldn't want you to get a bad reputation just because you killed 5 women. That wouldn't be right. And then Anderson went on, courts have made a practice in late years of giving young first offenders the benefit of parole, and we feel that this is a case where the court can do likewise. He's not young and he's not a first offender. Okay, let's go back up here. So, where are we? One, two, three, four. This is his fourth offense, not his first, but we're going to pretend the first three never happened. I guess so. If you're buddies with judges. Okay. It is extremely hard at his age for the defendant to be in such trouble as he now finds himself in. Oh, my heart bleeds. So, Judge Ahern remarked that as he had known the defendant for a great many years and had always found him to be an honorable, upright citizen, it was difficult to pass judgment on him. You know, everybody thought John Wayne Gacy was an honorable, upright citizen until they found his crawl space full of bodies. Do you think maybe 5 dead women might indicate this guy isn't such an honorable, upright citizen? But now, if the judge likes you, 5 dead women's not that big a deal. Dr. Milliken has admitted his guilt, but on account of his past record and many manifestations of public spiritedness, the court feels that he is entitled to a suspended sentence. Isn't that special? And then to just add the final kick in the teeth, this is published the day he actually died, April 13th, 1929, in the Akron Beacon Journal. Dr. C.W. Milliken is critically ill. Dr. C.W. Milliken, 72, is critically ill at his home from heart disease. Dr. Milliken is among the well-known older residents of the city. He was a prominent Democratic leader in the county for many years. No mention of 5 dead women. I guess it's nice when you've got friends in high places.